intro.
Alright, we got the rail, the cart, 2 weights, each one is 250 grams. The interface, the computer with 2 graphs, one's position, one's force. We got our chart to chart everything down. And then we got Dom. We got me. Alright, this guy. We got Rudy.
And
yeah, we'll get started.
These are the 2 equations we will be using for our experiment. The one on the left we will be using for kinetic friction, with the P being the force of it being pushed, what we have on what the graph shows us, over mg, which we will weigh the cart and the weights on it and multiply that by gravity to get that number. And then our second equation is the tangent of the angle, of which we will have the cart on an inclined plane. And that we will be using to find the coefficient of static friction.
Good enough? No, not good enough. Good enough. Oh, it's just gonna fall off.
you're gonna want to put it upside down. Not with the weights. Hey, if it works, yeah. Do 500 because those 250s are already.
One more try.
Hey, we should probably weigh them out.
Weigh them separately.
Here, do the. Yeah, I guess.
Put away. You're just making it heavier.
Oh, did I do it wrong? My bad.
You should go the other way.
$253.
253.
53 grams. And the weights each are 250, so 500 grams.
Assume both of them are 500.
And they're more than 500?
By a couple grams.
Pobrecito, no puedes porque. Se la amarra. Pobrecito. Hay que hacer una revolución.
505 grams.
I think we broke it.
Ooh.
Come on. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna put it.
This is the graph we will be using for the force for the top equation with the P over mg to find the coefficient of kinetic friction.
What is it?
Like 6? 6 centimeters. Over 120 centimeters. I'll change that to meters once I get home. You want to lift it up a little bit?
Oh, like this one. Yeah, it's really loose. What am I supposed to do?
I just like changed the angle a little bit. And now we measure that. Six and a half. 0.5 centimeters over 120 centimeters. And we are basically.
What is important to take an experiment more than once? Taking an experiment once will give you one set of numbers, while taking multiple will give you an area of numbers. This is better because it helps you eliminate multiple things, human error, and other basic errors that can be caused without sensors. Since we're taking most of this information from just visuals and our inputs, there could be errors throughout the inputs, errors throughout the readings, or timing of such sorts. Doing multiple experiments will eliminate this percent error or help reduce it to a minimum. An example of this in the real world is Nobel Prizes. Nobel Prizes are given to scientists with a great achievement. These scientists experimented for years and years and years, creating multiple scenarios, situations, and repeating that same experiment as long as they had to determine the actual results. Same thing with us, the same principle of repetition and perfection, looking for the best, most average numbers.
Hi, welcome back. In this experiment, we calculate both the static and kinetic coefficient of friction using our collected data. Our average statistic coefficient of friction was 0.2679, and our average kinetic coefficient was 0.3149. For the static trials, we consistently got the same value across all 3 trials, which suggested our measurements were stable and repeatable. For the kinetic trials, our values were 0.3149, 0.3214, and 0.3084, which showed slight variation, but overall stayed close to the average. We also used a total weight force of 4.6354 newtons, along with applied forces of 14.6, 14.9, and 14.3 newtons during the trials. These values allowed us to calculate the friction coefficients and compare how friction behaves if an object is at rest versus when it is moving. For this experiment, we learned several important concepts about friction. First, we saw the difference between static and kinetic friction. Static friction acts when an object is not moving, while kinetic friction acts when the object is already in motion. Based on the theory, static friction should be greater than kinetic friction, although in our results kinetic values were slightly higher, which suggests some experimental errors. This leads to another key takeaway. Experimental values are not always perfect. Factors like surface roughness, inconsistently pulling force, and measurement inaccuracies can also affect the results. We also learned the importance of repeating trials. By doing 3 trials and averaging the results, we are able to reduce error and get more reliable values. Overall, this lab helped us understand how friction works with real-world situations, such as in vehicles, machinery, and everyday objects, while controlling motion and resistance is important. Thank you.
In this experiment, several factors affected our results, including friction between the carts and the track, slight air resistance, and measurement errors from the sensors. Additionally, the track may not have been perfectly level, and the collisions themselves were not perfectly ideal, causing some energy to be lost as heat or sound. These factors mainly impacted the kinetic energy of the system. Based on our data, momentum was conserved in all trials because the percent difference between the initial and final momentum was very close to zero. This is expected since momentum is conserved in both elastic and inelastic collisions when no external forces act on the system. However, kinetic energy was only conserved in the elastic collisions. In those cases, the kinetic energy before and after the collision was nearly the same, with the percent difference close to zero. In contrast, during inelastic collisions, the kinetic energy decreased significantly, as shown by large percent differences of around 43% and 37%. This indicates that some of the kinetic energy was transformed into other forms of energy, such as heat or sound. To determine whether a quantity was conserved, we use percent differences in our criteria. If the percent difference was close to zero, we considered the quantity conserved. If the percent difference was large, we concluded that it was not conserved.